But didn't you or the council a few years back sit down and put rules into place which would exclude box stores going in there?
What we did is we had a 50,000 square foot requirement before you had to go vertical, and that was put in place before the mall even had talked to Walmart, because it was really Walmart had just started talking to the mall, and they never applied. They never came in and filled out an application.
And I think because the rules were changed to keep them more specific. I mean,
well,
go through, get the star, go through historical documents and look there and you'll see our meetings held here to make it difficult, if not impossible, for Walmart to come in. That's the way they want it. And yet, I go up there and see there's nothing wrong with Target. Nothing wrong with it.
Well, and Target was another controversial decision of the city council, because our small businesses didn't want Target to come in either.
Right. Well, everybody's got to compete. If you have a guy like Webber store complaining about Target going in or Walmart going in, he'll have to learn to compete in this day and age. And anybody who goes into Berners doesn't go for a cheap sandwich or cheap meat. So I don't think why to get worried about Target or Walmart. But I would rather see something down there now, and it's for years now, all we've heard is it'll be next year, and then it's going to be a hotel. Well, maybe that's not.
Well, the hotel's still in line, as is the aquarium, because I've spoken with them within the last several weeks, and so they're still committed to the project.
Has this utility fee had any impact on the type of development that would be coming in there?
No, it hasn't.
How much longer are we going to wait for that development? I mean, do they own the property? Or
they own the property.
Are you giving them tests?
They get star bonds from the state?
Star bonds from the state. Mm-hmm.
And the star bonds, even with the economy isn't in Topeka, you're still going to be granted?
Yeah, the star bonds were authorized. They were extended because they understood how what the state of the economy was. And with the way that their lender was, I mean, they have to be 75% with actual signed leases, which means the lessees have to have their financing in place before they can sign a lease. They're working on several different deals. Any one of them would put them over that 75% requirement, so that they're going to be able to get up and get going. But they're very committed to the project. I mean, they have tens of millions of their own hard dollars in that project, and nobody wants it going up more than they do. I did have a resident, I think in the wintertime, was upset that I couldn't make them build, and I really likened it to a resident who came in and got a building permit for an addition to their house. Let's say they live next door to me and they're going to put in a swimming pool, and I'm really excited about that swimming pool, and their financing isn't quite working out, and so they can't get it. I can't go to them and say, well, doggone it, I don't really care what your lender says, build it anyway. I mean, it's the same kind of thing. This is private property. The city doesn't own it. We worked with them. We tried to do, what's fair for the community, what's going to work for them, so we can they can move on with the project. It's still going to be a great project, and we want the right thing to go in, because whatever goes in there, it's going to be a huge financial investment. And I mean, the community vision's important. Yes, sir.
I'm Doug Gregg, and I own a small business in Mission over on Dearborn, Answer Road with the answering service. We've been around Mission since 1956. Mission is actually a business and a commercial destination as well as a retail destination. So we need to be careful and understand that there are other kinds of businesses here besides just the retail community. And I have a commercial property, and the infrastructure of the city of Mission is exceptionally important to the value of my property. If we have no streets, if we have gravel roads, busted curbs, whatever you want to think of, and I have it running in front of my building and I go to put it up for sale, I have enough trouble in this day and age renting the space in there that's very, very reasonable and under market. Trying to sell it is going to be an even more difficult story if I have to do that. We have no plans to leave Michigan. We've been here for 55 years. There's no plans and no threat to leave here whatsoever. There's been a lot of us around. It's a real tough economic situation right now for everybody. The federal government, we hear it every day. We hear it from the state. It dwindles down and the cities have no place else to go. We've got to do something to maintain the sustainability of our community. And we have to start somewhere. The city has put out a viable, reasonable plan. Something that can work, that is fair to everybody. All of those people who are tax exempt, whether under sales tax, whether under property tax, whatever, the federal government facilities, the utility properties, all of the other tax exempt properties are not exempt under the TUF program. So I think that's to our advantage. That means everybody is helping to pay for it. Now, I don't live in Michigan, so I can't vote here. I have to do whatever people tell me to do. It's legislated upon me. What I can do is I can work with the community leaders and I can try to be informed and know about what's happening. This transportation utility fee didn't get dumped down my throat last week. I've known about it since last spring when the Kansas City Stars started sensationalizing. When was that, Laura? February, March?
Well, I think the big article was May.
Okay.
The article that generated talk radio was in May.
But prior to that, even last winter, there was discussion.
There was.
So it's been on the drawing boards, it's been talked about. All people have to do is get involved with their community a little bit, and you're going to know what happens. There's a visioning committee, there's all kinds of things to keep you informed. I have to read just like everybody else has to read. And I don't even take Kansas City Star because you never know what they're going to say. So as long as it's sensational, they're going to print it. But we've got to do something as a group, and we've got to do something together. This may or may not be the right answer. It's the answer the council has proposed. It's the answer the council has put forward. In my eyes, if the council hired a city staff that isn't a little smarter than I am about how to deal with this, then we better go back to the council and get a new council so they can hire a new city staff. Because we've got to put our weight someplace. And if we can't stand behind our own leadership in our community, and there's no reason why this lady should have to stand up here and take some of what I heard last week. At least this group is civil. But it's our community, and I'm part of it, even though I'm not a voter. So I hope that everybody will finally come around and say, look, I've got to get involved. It's as much my responsibility as anyone else's that this went through. I didn't see a problem. I saw it as a fair way to get the job done. And I'm going to get hit. I don't like it. I'm going to get hit just like everybody else. And if you want to see people get hit, you ought to see what my property taxes in Oklahoma Park have done in the last 10 years. Maybe low by some standards, but when I look at them almost doubling, I don't think that's very fun. So, and I pay my fair share of my year admission, so.
That does make me think of one thing. Last week we heard why now, our roads have been bad, why are we working on them now? And one of the reasons, well, very big reason why we're also moving forward is we're finding, as we've been working on some of our other road projects, the construction costs are markedly down now than what they were several years ago. And so we really have an opportunity to do more with our money because those construction costs, both in labor and materials, are quite a bit lower now than they were. Yes, ma'am.
The one thing that upsets me is the fact for Katie, how do you expect that to feed the mall that eventually will go down there and feed into our smaller businesses?
Well, when we've had,
If I said to those and you said, I bet you the traffic would go through, well, I was here to say that I know I went down the radio shack 2 times. I had to set through 2 lights to get on what is now 1 lane. And if it had 2 lanes, I could have presumably gotten out in 1 light. Now that's going to change people's perception of shopping down there. And then you're going to be putting a mall in there. Where's all that traffic going on 3 lanes?
well, when we went through and we did our traffic studies, we found that that area operates like a 3-lane road. Anyway, which is part of why we had that determination. And then some of the other concerns that have been raised in the community is the speed with which cars run on Johnson Drive. And so part of why we went to a 3-lane configuration there is because it helps also make the cars not go as fast, and it continues to utilize the road in the manner that it had been utilized. And then one of the other things that have been important for our visioning is to provide opportunities for people to walk more downtown or ride bikes and be able to, be more pedestrian friendly, so we can continue bringing people in our business area.
How many people are going to be walking up and down Johnson Drive? Not that many.
I saw one.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I have a neighbor who's using our trails and has been using the sidewalks, and he generally is.
In other words, you want to get rid of us little old toddling people.
Well, no, he's retired. So, I mean, he's out, he's moving around. I want to make it safer for you. Janet had something.
Yeah, you said everybody will pay this, which means the health center, the swimming pool,
That's correct.
So do you anticipate that our swimming pool fees and the health center fees will go up?
No, not to compensate for that. But see, the swimming pool, and this is something we talked about in June, our swimming pool it needs to be replaced. And it needs a substantial amount of repairs. And several years ago, well, we've had several different done surveys, and one of the things the community supported was that's a community amenity that we want to have, but we don't want to have a water park. We like having the 2 pools, having the swim team, and so 2 years ago we had a consultant come in and work with the swim team and do focus groups with residents, and what it was that we could put $3 million in to fix part of it, or it'd be $5.5 million to replace it and take care of the problem. Because to put the $3 million in wasn't going to solve some of our leakage problems because of some of the infrastructure, which I really thought was a waste of taxpayer money to put $3 million in when we know we need to rip it out and replace it. But that's going to be a community conversation we're going to need to have, because we want to continue that and to figure out how we're going to pay for that. But those hadn't been items that we wanted to bring to the community right now with the way that the economy is and that the gateway's not up. And
so you don't anticipate the fees?
But we don't. No. Because we want our pool to be affordable.
Yeah, and when is this effective and how's it going to be billed?
With the transportation utility fee, it'll come on the property tax bill starting with 2011.